be here. We hope during the conference we're going to talk in the for the end of the conference. Thank you so much. Yeah. Thank you.
Yes, my name is Juba, and I am an accountant for the organization National Development that is honored. And I am very happy to see the kind of people that in our front from different nationalities. And this one gives me hope that peace is coming to my country or to our country. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Hello. Good evening. I'm Luka Deng, member of Honor, and I'm also ABP coordinator for ABP South Sudan facilitators. The right of my hand is my wife. We came together to welcome you. She said that you would like to see, you want to see those people who are coming to welcome. It's not me alone, but me and her together. Yeah. So she's Madame Alakim, I think.
Alakim,
Yes. Yeah, she's here to welcome you. Those colleagues who are coming from different countries,
yes,
and my colleagues who are residing here in South Sudan. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Good.
Thank you. Hello, colleagues. Sorry, Stan. Can you hear me clearly?
Yeah.
I'm Bernadette Muthian. You can call me B or Bernie for short. I'm an Africa veteran, though not so old as some of the veterans who are very old. And I'm a poet, a writer, and a facilitator based in Cape Town, South Africa. It is an honor and a privilege to be in South Sudan for so many of us. We thank all the good people, especially Moses, who put it all together. And sure, you can't imagine how many poems were flowing. And especially after we see your beautiful Nile River too.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Yes.
By the hands of the Suleiman, I'm a member and honored. I work with the ICRC and the nurse.
Thank you.
Greetings everyone. Thank you for the warm welcome. Is this working?
Yes. And you can get this.
It needs a bunch.
Thank you.
Yeah, this is better.
Yeah.
My name is Ada V. Here from the United States. It was difficult to follow Matt on the plane from Addis Ababa to Juba because I really just wanted to go to Burundi. It was going to take me the same amount of time because that's where I'm from. I currently serve as Vice Chancellor for Equity and Inclusion and Professor of Education at the University of Washington, Tacoma. I'm very happy to be here. I'm still very sleepy. I think so far I'm the one who traveled the farthest. So if you see me dozing, I'm not being bored, I'm just tired. It took me 3 days to get here.
Yeah.
What a pleasure to be here among all of you, working to advance nonviolence and peace. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Yes.
Hello, good afternoon. My name is Abisola Asha. I am the youth ambassador for Youth Invest. We provide lap desks
Welcome.
for children without desks when they go to school. I'm here on behalf of my mother, Tandeka Tutu Asha, and my grandfather, the Archbishop Desmond Tutu. Pleasure to be here.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yes, good afternoon. My name is Umunakai David from Uganda. I work for Uganda Christian University as the Dean School of Social Sciences. And I've been with IFRA since 2016, and that was marked my journey of prayer. I've been participating in events and also writing about this and conflicts in Africa.
Good afternoon. I'm George Mutalemwa from Tanzania. I teach at St. Augustine University of Tanzania. Normally I teach development studies. I'm also executive secretary of the Association of Catholic Universities and Higher Institutes of Africa and Madagascar. And I've been organizing global peace studies for sustainable development in Africa webinars every Wednesday, and I'm glad that I see some of the people have been participating in these sessions. And I'm also glad to meet some people, some authors like LRB that have read some of our works. So it's really a pleasure having you and meeting you all. And I'm sure that we're going to exchange more as the days go by. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. I greet everyone. My name is Aboseti Omowi Babatunde. I'm from Nigeria and I'm a peace scholar from the University of Ilorin in Nigeria. And my research is on resource governance, peace building, and gender. So I'm very happy to be in Juba today, and it's wonderful to see this country looking so peaceful, and I hope there's peace within. So, and I'm also impressed by what I've been saying since we arrived here. And at the same time, we appreciate our host for putting this together and for giving us a very exciting conference and stage. And at the same time, I'd like to congratulate the whole of African Peace Research and Education for hosting this conference here and for all the effort and support to make this conference actually available. And lastly, to the chair of Africa sitting here, chairs the ESCO organizing committee, and at the same time to Matt Mine for all the wonderful efforts they are trying to at least continue to ensure that Africa progress. And we have seen lots of knowledgeable achievements. Thank you. And lastly, I also congratulate Matt Meyer for his birthday. And I hope you can give him maybe a birthday song.
Yes. Thank you.
I would like to say welcome to Juba and South Sudan for all of you, and especially for those who are here for the first time. My name is James Simon Andrew Jada. You can call me James Jada. I work for Middle and Central Committee as a program officer. Thank you.
Thank you, James.
Yeah, I'm Peter Brown, the professor for the Episcopal Church of South Sudan. You're welcome.
Thank you.
My name is Jean-Pierre Massamba. I'm from Congo Brazzaville. I am a co-representative I4 in Africa. It is a very happy to meet many people here in Juba. Thank you. Sorry, my English is very
That's good. Very good. Yes, thank you so much. Jean-Pierre is actually a lawyer, one of the senior lawyers in Congo, as far as I know, actually. Thank you so much for being here. It's a pleasure actually to have everyone around. My name's, of course, somebody, yes, He just arrived anyway.
Yes,
You're most welcome.
thank you very much.
Yes.
My name is Victor Mgaruka. I'm from DRC, especially in Bukavu.
Yes.
Yes, I started my journey yesterday because there is no direct flight.
Yes.
I went to Bujumbura to take my flight, and then I connect Bujumbura to Nairobi.
Yes.
I spent my night in Nairobi, and here today, I'm very glad meeting you
Yes.
all of you. So I work for the International Conference on the Great Lake Region, and I'm in charge of gender, women, and children, and also sexual violence against women and children. And I'm also the founder and the executive director of the Association of Non-Violence of DRC. So, and I facilitate also the course of Pacific Non-Violence in Rwanda, Burundi, and DRC, also in Kenya, in collaboration with Michel Mono, who is my mentor.
Yeah.
So thank you very much. I have a lot to learn from you and to share and to get from you.
Yeah.
I think this momentum is going to be very relevant and added value for, especially for my country and from where I'm coming from, Goma. What we don't know what is going to happen within 1 week. We don't know.
Yeah.
Because the war is now at the door of Goma, and the people have started to run all over. So we pray for that.
Yeah. We also look forward to update us. Do you want to also introduce
Yeah,
yourself?
let me remind them my name one second.
Yes.
I'm Reverend Francis Philip Nadu. I work with ACS as the coordinator for mission and evangelism, but also I work for peace. And I'm glad to be working with Dr. Moses. We worked with him before in Khartoum, in Sudan, but then we have been doing different things altogether. But again, we are back together, so thank God for that.
Thank you so much. Yeah. Thank you so much. Of course, my name is Moses Mande John. I'm the Executive Director of ONAT, Organization for Nonviolence and Development, based in Juba, actually a branch of International Fellowship of Reconciliation. So I represent International Fellowship of Reconciliation in South Sudan. And we are happy to have been working together with the province of the Episcopal Church of South Sudan to co-organize this meeting. So you are most welcome in Juba and for this meeting. That's briefly about myself. I also teach at the University of Juba, the graduate School of Public Service. I teach mostly conflict management, but also working groups and organizational development. That's what I teach at the university on part-time basis. So I think now we at least we get to know each other, and we will definitely have more time to interact during the informal time to get to know one another. Our brother from Congo is with us, the DRC. You are most welcome. We are very sad to hear about the ongoing developments, and we pray and we will also be in solidarity with the people of DRC because these people deserve to live in peace, just like any other people elsewhere. So we have a responsibility, and we have the need actually to show solidarity so that the people of DRC can actually put an end to what is happening. I speak as a South Sudanese because when it comes to war and what comes out as a result of fight, we have the best experience we can give to you because of our past. We have been fighting for over 60 years during independence, before independence, and after independence also we have that experience. So I'm saying this because we know it is very difficult for people actually to experience and live during a conflict. So with this, I would like to ask the Provincial Secretary on behalf of the Archbishop and Primate to officially welcome the international guests. Let us put our hands together and welcome them. Thank you so much.
Good afternoon. Afternoon. Might be evening or afternoon. I'm so delighted to stand before you on behalf of the Episcopal Church of South Sudan and on behalf of the Primate, Dr. Justice Badiarama, who will actually be with you tomorrow officially, and we will join the team. What a great honor to stand before the academicians, the experts from all over African and sisterly countries to go through the journey of peace, justice, and nonviolence. This is the right trend in which we should follow as humanity, but we fail because of our own ego. So you are highly welcome to Juba, South Sudan. Enjoy the facility. You cannot equate us with where you come from, but bear with us. In the level we are trying our best to reach the standards as equal by some of you. Your being with us is also going to be a lesson learned because you will have more value to us. And you will also learn much things from us. There are some stories that will go home with you from us. A sort of resilience and consistency when things are not right. Therefore, this is ECS Guest House, Juba. My brother, Dr. Moses John, and Reverend Philip Lado, the Episcopal Church, I4, Honors, and IFRA. It is not easy to organize such events, but I really appreciate you and the team, those who are in the country and those from outside the country. I love this because I am also one of you, because I love this and that is my area of studies too. I've been working together with Honors when I was leading an organization called African Leadership and Reconciliation Ministries as the country director for the last 7 years before I came to the Episcopal Church of South Sudan. When facilitating conferences on peace building and reconciliation, we most of the time quote your grandfather, Desmond Tutu, what he has done in South Africa. And we need many of those in our context today. I was not called to deliver a speech, but I was just called to say welcome and feel home. In case of any challenges, he will doubly force on our behalf. Philip, take care of our guests, receptionists, everybody. Something may be missing, but we are growing. If things are all right, glory be to God. If something is missing, please don't fail to ask. Our sister came from a very far age, Seattle, in Washington. Seattle. It's very far. And she's actually like sleeping because of long problems. So mine is just to say, welcome, we'll make it short as possible because you will be talking. I've seen the schedule from the 3rd all the way to 21st. It's a movement. Keep on, and we can be together. The last thing I need to say, these are the good mind. Give what you have, don't go back and say anything. Let us pay not to take it, but don't reserve, because we need more. Things are okay, and things are not okay. We need you. God bless you.
Thank you.
This is our long-term partner, and he has been on the journey. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you. Okay. Thank you so much, Pastor Peter Garang, for the warm welcoming remarks. I'm sure all of us, we are feeling at home now. And picking from what he said, I will only say Juba, for those who came maybe the day before yesterday, at least some, I was here actually, and I learned that they are out. And I was really happy. Yeah, because it's like you have to explore the town, right? To see what is there in the town. And I'm sure you might have at least gotten some ideas about Juba.
Sorry, I forget one thing.
Yes.
The guest house here was only the ground floor,
Yes.
and the first floor is often by you. It was yesterday, it was official. Yes, even some of you are going to use that bed for the first time. So you are a blessing to us. Go ahead.
Thank you so much. Yeah, sure. So Juba, this is Juba. You will have time to go around, to interact with the people. The stories people hear about South Sudan is outside. Normally, it's not good. We are associated with violence and all sorts of bad things. But you are here in Juba. I'm sure you will see for yourselves Juba and how how you interact with the people around and so forth. So Juba, in terms of safety, I would say Juba is peaceful. Okay, not peaceful in that sense, but relatively peaceful. Okay, so there is no fear of any attack or anything of that sort. It will not. It's not even happening. It has not happened of recent. So in your private times, if you want to go to maybe to some commercial centers, that's okay. We have colleagues who will help you in case you wanted, to go together. In the evenings, we will recommend that you go in pairs. Okay, it's always good to go in pairs. And if you need any help of any sort, just let us know. We'll be able to help you. The guest house administration is also here. They will be able to help you in case you needed any help. So, in terms of the organization, yes, we have tried our best to make sure that everybody reaches peacefully, and we have been working with different partners across different institutions, and all have actually welcomed you in absentia. We were in the migration at the last minute because we know the application of e-visa was really problematic because the system was not all that friendly. But you kept on informing us. We also went to them in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, in the immigration department. We reported back, and we found a solution to process an entry permit locally to help you actually facilitate your travel. And it has worked. So this is also an experience for us, and I'm sure we will have time to interact together, particularly as from tomorrow onwards. So on behalf of my colleagues in honor, whom some of you are here, others will join us tomorrow, we are very happy to have actually accepted our invitation. Because when we express interest to host the I4 Council, an international conference, we thought we wanted to do it together, of course, because we know we are not alone, and we wouldn't have done it alone. We have partners, and we have been working with partners, including the Episcopal Church of South Sudan. So we are very happy that actually we have worked together to prepare for this meeting. Our partners in Africa, we also agreed at some level to hold the meeting here, because many members of Africa, they are also members, of course, of IPRA and members of IFO. So we felt since IFO is meeting here, we all meet in Juba. Why not? And we have been working actually for over 1 year, actually, to coordinate, prepare, and so forth. And finally, we are here in Juba. So to me, this is really amazing. And so you just feel at home, and I'm very sure we will have a lot to learn from one another because you bring experiences from your countries. We also have our experiences. And together, I'm sure by the end of the coming 3 days, we will be able to have some better insights about the way we looked at life before this gathering and even after this gathering. I'm sure we might have some different perspectives altogether. And for those who will continue to, of course, for other upcoming activities, we will continue to engage. And some of the colleagues who might travel after this first meeting, we will also wish you all the best. And with these few words, I would like to ask Matt Meyer, whom we have been actually coordinating this meeting with at 2 different levels, to coordinate and prepare. And we are happy that he's in Juba. Matt, here we are. You are most welcome to give you our welcoming remarks as well. Thank you. Yes.
I think it's been more than 2 levels, but anyway.
Yeah.
Today is really not a time for us to give speeches.
Yes.
We're really talking about logistics, so this is why I have to hold this. But it's hard for me not to pass up an opportunity for some political commentary. Because we know that some of us, African peoples and people in solidarity with Africa, have for longer than the existence of this country suggested that some of the older groups within the pantheon of peace and justice and human rights have their meetings here. So I feel very proud to be now the Secretary General of a group that had a Secretary General of African descent from Sierra Leone, one of the first in the peace internationals, and to have had meetings back as far as the 1980s, international meetings on the continent. So it's exciting finally to welcome the International Fellowship of Reconciliation, over 100 years old, to their first global meeting on the continent. It's not South Sudan's fault that it's taken them over 100 years. But I think it comes to mind that the question of logistics is often the outfacing idea of why not Africa? Why not South Sudan? It's violent. There's crisis. There's war. Or if it's not that, could you really house these people? Or might there be some diseases? Or might I get sick? There's always a logistical piece. So when Moses was talking about how Juba's not too violent, about how there's a sense of peace, and about how if you were to go out after dark, you should go out in pairs, I was thinking, I live in this city I was telling you about called New York City, where, I don't know, I would say at least 3 or 4 people if you go out at night. In some neighborhoods, 3 or 4 are not enough. So the idea of what is violent and what is not, of what is a place of conflict, what is a place of peace, because my city is certainly not a place that people think about or talk about in terms of being a violent place too much. People want to flock to New York City and spend lots of tourist dollars. But it is not a place where people can feel any more, and I would suggest in many cases, much, much less safe, much, much less at ease than in this very welcoming city, which I've just begun to know. So we use logistics as an excuse. We use certain type of mythologies of history as an excuse to continue this essentially anti-African position. And I think for me, the main piece of building towards this weeks of interrelated, complicated scheduling is not that there are problems, because there are always problems. We've had international conferences in every corner of the planet. it's how we can face whatever problem, whether it comes up 6 months, a year, or 2 minutes ago, with creative, humane, and interconnected solutions. And that has been, and what some of us knew was going to be, the character of this meeting all along. We knew, and in some cases, some of us who had some choices, where should AFPREA, Charles and others in the leadership thought, have their next conference? And some of us, Moses and myself, said, you know, on the one hand, South Sudan may not have as developed an infrastructure in some ways, but we're pretty sure if, for example, there's a last-minute visa emergency, we'll have a last-minute solution. I am sorry to say that some of you got that last-minute solution as you were boarding your planes, but the solution was still there. And that's South Sudan. That's what we knew was going to be here. So I'm speechifying, and I wanted to just do logistics. The apologies really go to this point. I think on behalf of both of us, I would like to confess that even the leadership of AFPREA, and certainly the leadership of E4, don't have a copy of the program, and none of you, the rest of you, have a copy of the program yet. We're going to rectify that soon, tomorrow morning, in fact. And part of that is not because of our being too busy or being unorganized. In fact, pulling together a program of not one, not two, but about 5 different international and many, many, many more than that, regional associations and local groups is very complex. And we want this program to be not just for AFPREA or just for E4. We want it to be holistic, starting with today and going to the 21st, 22nd. That you will receive tomorrow. Like everything in life, there'll be some changes, but we think what you'll get in the morning is pretty close to the final. Today, we're going to end in a moment, and then we go off to the more important work of networking and eating together and all the real peace movement building that takes those kinds of activities. But just to give you a clue, tomorrow and most days, we'll gather at 9 here and start the proceedings at 9:30. We're doing a test run of live streaming. We're not going to have live streaming every single session, but we think all of tomorrow and probably the next day, at least the plenaries, will be live streamed. So we just want to test it now, which is why you've seen us move the computer around. And so live streaming will start at 9:30 tomorrow, and we're going to send out to our networks later this afternoon the links that people from around the continent and around the world can tune in on. And then again, most days, we'll have lunch at 12:30, and we'll have the afternoon sessions beginning at 3:30. So we'll gather a little bit before then, and we'll try to start promptly at 3:30. And then those will go to evenings, and evenings will be free. So again, on some days, the next few days, it will be African Peace Research and Education Association, plenaries and workshops. Then there'll be 3 or 4 days when other associations will take over, and you'll see in the program there may be a morning hosted by this group and an afternoon hosted by another one. There will be, you'll see, at least one excursion. Yeah, you see, we keep some secret or whatever. Some things are just surprises, but you'll get a little bit less surprise tomorrow, and then you'll get more as the days go on. But at least one evening where, again, our South Sudanese hosts will offer us an evening of culture and arts and crafts. So that's in the program as well. And then after AFPREA, after those 3 or 4 days of a number of different groups, including the International Peace Bureau, which is the most Nobel Prize winning organization in the history of the prize. They themselves won, and about 15 of their different officers over the decades have won the prize. They're hosting an afternoon. And after those 2 days, on the 11th, we get to hear from Jean-Pierre as a speaker, finally. And we get to have more full English-French translation. And we recognize that this is another apology. We deal with most of this proceeding the next days in English. And we know some of you are Arabic-speaking primary, and some of you are others. But the E4 public meetings on the 11th, 12th, you'll get to hear more from Jean-Pierre, and we'll have more trilingual and quadrilingual, at least bilingual and trilingual interpretations going on. And then on the 13th, Sunday, there will be an interfaith service and on the 14th, E4 begins their internal meetings. So that gives you a little taste, a little overview of the program, and you'll get the actual programs in hand tomorrow after we do the last corrections that we could find in the last hourly meeting. It's an honor to be here. I think lastly, I'll just end with this. We also knew, given logistics and finances, that this conference of AFPREA and that these series of conferences of these different organizations was not going to be numerically large. We knew that we were going to be a core that would fit very nicely and perfectly in the center here and in this room here. So though we'll do some of these activities outside in the city, most of all of this, food, lodging, and conferencing, will be taking place here, which is its own joy, its own gift, because we get to have space together where we're living and eating and working together, and really talking about how we're building movements and networks of networks. But we knew that we would be a group of leaders from around the continent and the diaspora and allies. And so as one of those allies who comes a long way away and was not born on African soil, but has devoted my decades in solidarity, it's useful to note that there are already in the room now a small group of people, but a dozen different countries and territories represented. Those numbers are going to grow exponentially, even though the numbers of individuals in the room may remain small. We are a network of leaders of networks, and so we have to turnkey all the work so that it spreads not just throughout Africa, but throughout the world, because Africa is not only the motherland to civilization, but I believe the motherland to a lasting, effective peace in the 21st century. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Matt, for these elaborate remarks. I know rest and prepare for tomorrow. So before we conclude, let me just check on one thing. Okay, so we will close, but of course we will have time still to interact. We will have an evening tea, just I think they are bringing it. So please, we will have time still to interact as we take our tea. And also for the delegates, we do not forget to bring your passport and 2 passport size photograph, because tomorrow we'd like to take your passport for registration. We have these procedures that normally when you enter the country, you should be registered at the alias department. So that's actually a procedure is important for us to follow that. Okay, so I hope you all have your passport size photos because we needed that for the registration. So this will happen tomorrow, not today. Okay, if you don't have the passport size photograph, I think we can organize also so that we go to the local studios so that we can have one. Okay, so this is just for our information. So we don't want to conclude without giving a chance for any question. Is there any question for clarification before we close? We don't, right? Yes.
Yeah, it was going to be that about the registration. Yes, about the registration of presence. Yeah, it was a bit